Within the United Kingdom, 2.49 million people are currently unemployed. The media sector within England is an extremely competitive sector, representing only 1.5% of the total workforce, which is why so many people are turning to working freelance. 25% of the workforce is working on a freelance basis. When working within the freelance media sector, you can decide to specialise in a field of expertise, or you can offer a number of different services to widen the number of clients you are advertising to. In 2011, around 476,800 people are working freelance within the media sector, with over a quarter of these people working in music, visual and performing arts. Having the correct equipment available to you when working freelance is essential to the growth of your small, independent business. Whether this is renting out equipment or buying your own, both options can have their advantages and disadvantages in the short run and long run.
Well, I suppose if you're doing a fairly big shoot and what you require is expensive equipment, renting it for that one day would be beneficial, because then you don't have to fork out thousands of pounds if that's what's required. But in the long run, if you're using equipment and you're going to use it for every single shoot, in the long run you may be spending £1,000, maybe £2,000, depending on what you're buying up front. It may be expensive, but in the long run you will earn your money back. It will be worth it.
As an independent worker, you need to make yourself stand out in front of all the competition who is working the same field of work you are. Reliability, meeting deadlines, time management, commitment, presentational skills, communication skills and dress code are just some of the standard qualities which you will need to be at least par with competition. With 138,400 people working freelance in music, visual and performing arts, you need to make sure your personal qualities stand out more than everyone else's.
Some of the responsibilities that you need to make sure you have is that when you're working freelance, you need to be on time with your deadlines. If you say to a client that you are going to hand over the product to your client by a certain date, you need to make sure that you give it to them on that date, rather than going over by a week or 2 weeks, because then that's going to bring down your reputation a little bit.
Depending on the different type of work you have, whether that's creating a print-based advert in Photoshop for a small company, or whether that be a wedding video for a couple who wish to remember their big day, you may need to hire additional crew to help you out. If you need a hand from additional crew to help you out with bigger projects such as filming a music video, then you need to sit down and create a budget for your client. You also need to decide upon what you want to charge your client, because you do not charge a client too much which puts them off your services. But at the same time, you do not want to undersell yourself.
What you need to take into consideration is that your level of professionalism, how good are you at delivering this service. If you are very good at delivering this service, then you will charge a higher price for your service if it's more demanded. But if you're not so good, not so well known, then you will charge a lower price. But what is ideal, what is a good idea, is to sit down with your client. If it's a photo shoot or a music video, you sit down with a client and when you're discussing what you are going to do, the best thing is to ask the client what their budget is. That is a best way of not underselling yourself and not overselling yourself, so you get an idea of what kind of prices they're looking at, because sometimes it may come in your favour. If you are going to charge a client £100 and the client comes around and says, oh okay, well, our budget's £200, that's great, you get more money, you come away with more money than you hoped for.
When working freelance, you need to manage your finance well, otherwise you can encounter various different troubles such as debt, retirement pensions, expenses, etc. When working for a client, many have been known to ask for a deposit for the services you are providing up front. This means once your contract ends and your client does not wish to pay you because they are not satisfied with your services, you have not completely wasted your time and
Working as a freelancer, when you're working for a company, they can help you with retirement plans, and if you go off sick you get sick leave, which is good. But as a freelancer you do not have that sick leave. If you are sick and you cannot work, you do not get paid. which means I would say from a professional's point of view it would be beneficial if you open up another savings account. Once you get your check from your client, you take a portion of that check and put it into another savings account. So once if you do become sick, you have a backup. When you do come to retire, you have some money put aside which you have not spent, which is a good idea, a smart idea to do.
When working as a freelancer, a lot of your customers will be informed of your services through word of mouth. This is when a customer finds your businesses through gossiping with previous customers. However, this is not the only means of finding new customers. Today, there are many different methods of advertising your business for free to the masses through the use of social media. Websites such as Facebook, YouTube and Tumblr are excellent means of advertising your services for free online.
The best thing to do is talk to family and friends. The best thing to do is try and find yourself work, because within the industry you have the trouble is you cannot find work without having something to show, previous work to show. The thing is, you will not have previous work to show unless you have work. That is the problem within working freelance. So the best thing to do is speak to family and friends. See who, if you're a filmmaker, if your service is to make music videos for other bands, local bands, the best thing is to do is speak to your friends, go down to the local pub, see if there's a musical act on. If there is, speak to them, ask them if they want a music video for free. More than likely they're going to say yes, because it will work in their favour as well. But if you're a photographer, speak to family and friends and see who's getting married. Go to along to their wedding for a chance, take some photos, get yourself some work. Even if it's not a real wedding, just set something up with your friends who are willing to help out for one evening or day and take some photos.